So the wind is wreaking havoc with things. I'm here with Mike Cox at Schug Estate. We're standing in the wind in Carneros. Mike, you've been the winemaker here since 1995. Can you give us a little bit of an idea what makes Carneros unique and what it gives to you as a winemaker?
Well, so the wind is a big part. I mean, it's the wind, it's the water, it's the soils or the lack thereof. So you know, the wind, unless you stood here in Carneros in an afternoon, and this is early in the day for wind, but if you stand here in the afternoon, then you really do understand the kind of the big shaping feature of what, you know, what gives terroir down here. You've got this wind which is driven by it being cooler in here and drawing the fog back in. Typically in the morning you would see fog till, you know, in summer especially, you would see fog till, you know, 10, 11 o'clock, even noon some days, you know, keeping kind of moderating the temperatures here. And then the wind starts up in the afternoon, kind of slows the vine growth down. See?
Damn. Damn. Wind does not like us. This is the third try. Here we go. Got a little wind issue here today, which illustrates what's going on here in Carneros. I'm here with Mike Cox, the winemaker at Schug Estate, winemaker since 1995. Mike, we've gone through this again several times, but let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about Carneros. What makes Carneros a unique microclimate?
Well, it's the water, the wind, obviously, and kind of thinner soils. It's all three things that really contribute to what's going on here. You know, fog, you know, a cooler climate. You know, it starts with the water. You can see the bay off down there to the south. With that bay, we typically have a little bit warmer winter here, and so you'll see bud break a little bit earlier than, say, up in Sonoma Valley. And then in summer we've got the fog. It's a little early for fogs, but in summer you'll see fog here until, you know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the day. So we get kind of, the vines get a late start to their day, and then we have a nice couple of days, you know, bit of growing weather, and then in the afternoons you typically will see the wind coming back in as the fog gets sucked back in from the coast. And with that fog coming in, you can see the winds that blow along through here. Just to the north of us is the Petaluma Gap, and so you've got this wind coming down, being funneled down, and then opening up, and then the winds just howl along here in Carneros. So, you know, typical afternoon, I mean, it's 15-20 mile-an-hour winds is pretty normal for a late afternoon, and that also shuts the vines down, so it kind of slows their growth. And so what that means is we end up picking about a week or 10 days on the front end of the growing season, because we started early, and then on the back end we pick another 7 to 10 days of growing. So it gives us a lot of time to develop flavors without necessarily needing to accumulate alcohol. So, you know, for me, it just allows you really to let the fruit shine through.
Sure.
It's a big advantage for us, I think, in this kind of a cooler climate. It's not a cold climate, but it's definitely on the cooler side.
Are there significant differences between the east and west side of Carneros? Because it is it's a fairly big appellation, coming from Sonoma to Napa. I think it confuses some people.
Well, it's the soils are pretty similar. So you've got, once you get off the mountains here, or just the slopes, I should say, then you kind of get this kind of a rolling, gentle hills all the way through into Napa, and that's pretty typical. You still get that same wind. You know, I think one of the unique things about Carneros is that despite the county line splitting it in two, you do see similarities between the wines. And so, I mean, that's when they founded the appellation, created the appellation, it was done on the fact that, you know, they tasted these wines from this part of Sonoma and that part of Napa, and they tasted more similar than, say, a wine from Yountville to a southern to a Carneros, mm-hmm. or a Dry Creek Chardonnay to a Carneros Chardonnay. So there are much more similarities down here, and it's much more of a unified appellation than I think than a lot of other appellations.
And we spoke briefly before about soil types. Can you give a little description of the soil here?
It's pretty thin. I mean, it's mostly, you've got a lot of alluvial soils. You have some volcanic soil, but it's all very, very thin. After about a meter or so, you start getting into some serious rock. You know, we dug a well in our the poor guy went through bits and sheared off his drill. So it's tough down below once you get past this real shallow topsoil. So the vines are working pretty hard. So they get down there.
So, and we spoke also about the fact that the wind sort of assists in keeping this a drier region, and these thin soils also, I assume, help drainage.
Yeah, we're pretty well drained. It's with the wind and drying things out, it does keep the disease pressure down. So it means we don't have to do a lot in the vineyards to keep out botrytis or mildew and things like that. That's an advantage. It does provide challenges though in the growing. You've got to work with the wind, and so we'll you train the canes out, and you'll see if in our we have a vertical shoot positioning system, and as things come up, we have to work with the wind and kind of grow with it, because if you're growing young shoot tips in there, they're going to snap back right over. And we move the wires pretty frequently to support that, because once they start getting too long, they'll start flopping around and will actually shear themselves off.
So there are challenges and benefits to the region.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you, I mean, you have Chardonnay, you have Pinot Noir. Is there some sort of overarching character that you find in Carneros fruit?
So, in the way of Chardonnay, I think it's kind of more of a green apple. Good acidity is always a real mark. I mean, even you look at the color of the wines, it tends to have a green tint to it, and that for Chardonnay. And then on Pinot, I think it tends to be more in the red fruits and spicy character. I do, from some of the windy sites, including here on the estate, we have some blocks that give kind of a real smoky, meaty character, and I find that like on Wildcat Mountain, and there's some other areas that we can get this, when they get this wind coming through, with it gives this kind of, like I said, a meaty, smoky character to it. So it's more savory than fruity.
So you said on the windy sites, you have not windy sites,
or
just less windy sites?
There's less windy sites. All sites are windy, but yeah, they're the exposed sites, I should say. So.
Fantastic. So maybe we should go inside and talk a little bit about what you do with that fruit.
Okay, great.